The mist hung thick over Eldergrove, as if it had been spun from the very fabric of dreams. Elara paused at the edge of the village, her breath mingling with the cool morning air. The cobblestone streets, slick with dew, wound through the village like veins, leading her back to a place she had once called home. Eldergrove had not changed. Its ivy-clad cottages remained steadfast under the embrace of ancient trees, their branches whispering secrets only the wind could carry. The air was rich with the scent of damp earth and blooming wildflowers, tinged with an inexplicable hint of something otherworldly, a fragrance that felt like a memory just beyond reach. Elara's heart quickened as she stepped forward, her footsteps echoing softly in the silence. She had returned after years of wandering, drawn by an invisible thread to unravel her own story amidst the tapestry of Eldergrove's enduring magic. Each step felt like an incantation, awakening spirits long dormant beneath the village's serene facade. "Back at last, Elara," a familiar voice called out, warm and welcoming. Turning, Elara found Maeve standing at the threshold of her cottage, a smile playing on her lips. The village herbalist looked ageless, her silver hair cascading down her back like a waterfall of moonlight. Her eyes, stormy and wise, held the weight of stories untold. "Maeve," Elara replied, feeling a rush of emotion. "It's good to see you." Maeve beckoned her closer. "Come in, there's tea and tales waiting." Inside Maeve's cottage, the air was thick with the scent of drying herbs and candle wax. Shelves lined with jars and trinkets spoke of a life steeped in nature's mysteries. Elara settled into a chair by the hearth, cradling a steaming cup between her hands. "How does it feel?" Maeve asked, her gaze probing yet gentle. "To be back?" Elara hesitated, searching for words. "It feels right, and yet as if I've stepped into a dream." Maeve nodded knowingly. Eldergrove has always had that effect. It holds memories within its mist. Elara sipped her tea, savoring the warmth that spread through her. "I feel those memories calling to me, as if they're trying to tell me something." "They are," Maeve said softly, "and you must listen closely." Their conversation drifted into silence, each woman lost in thought. The crackle of the fire filled the space between them, echoing the unspoken connection they shared. "Have you seen him yet?" Maeve asked suddenly, breaking the quiet. "Him?" Elara frowned slightly. Maeve's eyes twinkled with mischief. "Alaric." Alara's heart skipped a beat at the name. She had not seen Alaric since her return, but his presence lingered in her mind like a shadow at dusk, comforting yet unsettling. "No, not yet," she admitted. "He'll find you," Maeve assured her. "He always does." The firelight flickered across Maeve's face as she spoke, casting shadows that danced like spirits across the walls. Elara felt a shiver run through her, not from fear, but from anticipation. As evening descended upon Eldergrove, Elara found herself drawn to the forest's edge. The canopy above was dense and interwoven, filtering moonlight into a mosaic of silver dapples that danced upon the forest floor. Here the air was cooler, carrying the sound of rustling leaves and distant bird calls, a symphony of whispers that seemed to speak directly to her soul. It was here that she first encountered Alaric. He emerged from the shadows like a figure from a forgotten tale, his presence both commanding and ethereal. His eyes held centuries within them, reflecting stories untold and promises unkept. There was an air about him, a sense of being both part of this world and apart from it. "Elara," he greeted her, his voice resonant and deep. "Alaric," she replied, feeling an inexplicable pull toward him. They stood in silence for a moment, words unnecessary in their shared understanding. Yet beneath that silence lay a tension, a dance of attraction and trepidation that mirrored the delicate balance of reality and fantasy in Eldergrove. "Why did you come back?" Alaric asked eventually, his gaze unwavering. Elara hesitated, searching for truth amidst tangled emotions. "I needed to find something," she confessed, "something I lost." "And have you found it?" "Not yet," she admitted, "but I feel closer." Alaric nodded thoughtfully. "This place has a way of revealing what we seek, if we're willing to see." Their conversation flowed like the river that wound through Eldergrove, smooth yet carrying an undercurrent of mystery. As they spoke, Elara felt herself drawn deeper into Alaric's enigmatic aura, sensing that his secrets were entwined with her own. "I've missed this," she confessed softly. His eyes softened, and for a moment, Elara glimpsed vulnerability behind his stoic exterior. "As have I," he replied. Their connection was palpable, an invisible thread binding them across time and space. Yet even as they stood together beneath the moonlit canopy, Alara sensed another presence, a ghostly figure lingering at the edges of perception. She turned instinctively, searching for its source, but finding only shadows stretching long and deep among ancient trees. "Do you feel it too?" Alaric asked quietly. "Yes," Alara whispered. "What is it?" "A reminder," he said cryptically, "of what once was and what could be again." His words hung heavy between them, a promise wrapped in enigma, and Alara knew that their journey together had only just begun. As they parted ways beneath the forest's watchful gaze, Alara felt a sense of purpose stirring within her, a call to uncover Eldergrove's secrets and embrace her role within its unfolding drama. The mist rolled in once more as she made her way back through cobblestone streets toward home, a spectral shroud clinging to every corner like an old friend returned at last. In Eldergrove, a village suspended between worlds, Alara would find not only solace but also revelation. Not merely connection, but transformation. Not just love, but destiny itself, waiting patiently beneath layers of time and memory for someone brave enough to seek it out amidst shadows both seen and unseen alike. The mist lay thick over Eldergrove, a soft veil that blurred the boundaries of the waking world and the realm of dreams. Alara walked along the cobblestone path leading to the village square, the damp air cool against her skin. The ancient oak tree loomed ahead, its gnarled branches stretching skyward like a sentinel keeping watch over the heart of the village. She paused beneath its boughs, listening to the murmur of the stone fountain, its waters shimmering with hues that defied description. "Alara," a voice called softly, cutting through the quietude. She turned to see Maeve approaching, her silver hair cascading like moonlight down her back. There was an ageless grace about Maeve, as if time itself respected her presence. In her eyes, the color of storm clouds danced 1,000 untold stories. "Maeve," Alara greeted her with a smile, though it was tinged with curiosity. "What brings you here this morning?" "The same thing that brings you," Maeve replied, her voice carrying the melody of forgotten tales, seeking answers among whispers and shadows. Alara nodded, sensing the weight of Maeve's words. They stood together in silence, the village square around them breathing with an unspoken anticipation. "Have you felt it too?" Alara finally asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. "The stirring in the air as if something old is waking?" Maeve's gaze held her steadily. Eldergrove is a place where past and present dance in delicate harmony. Sometimes those dances become more pronounced. Alara shivered slightly, not from the chill but from the resonance of truth in Maeve's words. "And what role do I play in this dance?" "That is for you to discover," Maeve said enigmatically. "But remember, Alara, every step you take resonates through time." As Maeve's words settled into her mind like seeds waiting to bloom, Alara felt a gentle tug at her heart, a call from the forest's edge. She knew she would find Alaric there, as she had on previous evenings when the sun dipped below the horizon and shadows stretched long across the land. The path to the forest was familiar, yet ever-changing, as if the trees shifted to guard their secrets. Alara moved with purpose, each step drawing her closer to a destiny she couldn't yet comprehend. Alaric awaited her at their usual spot, where ancient trees formed a natural alcove. He stood with his back to her, hands clasped behind him as he gazed into the depths of the woods. His presence was both comforting and unsettling, a man out of time with eyes that reflected centuries past. "Alara," he said without turning, as if he'd sensed her approach. "I'm here," she replied softly, stepping into the clearing. He turned then, his gaze meeting hers with an intensity that sent a shiver down her spine. "The forest has been whispering your name." "What does it say?" she asked, moving closer until they were mere steps apart. "That you carry echoes of its past within you," Alaric answered, his voice low and resonant, "and that your return is not by chance." Alara studied him, searching for meaning behind his cryptic words. "Is this why I feel as though I'm being drawn deeper into Eldergrove's mysteries?" Alaric nodded slowly. "The village holds many secrets, some forgotten, others merely waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves." "And you?" Alara inquired. "Are you part of these secrets?" A fleeting smile touched his lips. "Perhaps I am both a keeper and a seeker of them." Their conversation hung in the air like mist suspended in time, rich with unspoken emotions and laden with mysterious undertones. As they spoke, Alara felt a growing connection between them, an invisible thread that wove their fates together. "Do you believe in destiny?" she asked suddenly, surprising even herself with the question. Alaric's expression softened. "I believe in choices that lead us to where we are meant to be." Alara nodded thoughtfully. "Then perhaps I've chosen rightly by returning here." "Perhaps," he agreed, his gaze holding hers with a warmth that belied his enigmatic nature. As dusk fell around them and shadows deepened into night, Alara and Alaric continued their conversation, two souls navigating the delicate balance between reality and dreams. The spectral presence that shadowed their steps remained elusive as smoke, an ever-present reminder of Eldergrove's ethereal nature. Yet amid uncertainty and secrets whispered on the wind, Alara found solace in Alaric's company, a connection forged in shared understanding and mutual longing for truth. Their bond grew stronger with each encounter, a dance of attraction tempered by trepidation as they explored both seen and unseen realms together. And as they parted ways under starlit skies that night, each returning to their own thoughts, Alara knew she had taken another step toward unraveling not only Eldergrove's mysteries but also those hidden within herself. Yet even as she walked back through mist-shrouded streets toward home, a cozy cottage nestled at forest's edge, a sense of anticipation lingered in her heart, like an unfinished melody awaiting resolution. For tomorrow promised new discoveries amid familiar landscapes, a journey through echoes of past lives intertwined with present choices, a story yet unwritten where love danced with danger beneath ancient trees that whispered secrets only time could tell. Alara wandered the cobblestone streets of Eldergrove, her thoughts as mist-laden as the morning air that clung to the village like a spectral cloak. Each step was a whisper of memory, the familiar crunch beneath her boots echoing with the voices of her youth. The village square loomed ahead, dominated by the ancient oak whose gnarled branches twisted skyward in silent supplication. She paused beneath its boughs, the stone fountain murmuring a lullaby at her back. The water shimmered in hues that defied description, dancing in rhythm with the leaves above. It was here that Maeve found her, her presence as inevitable as the dawn. "Alara," Maeve greeted, her voice a melody of forgotten tales and ancient forests. "You've returned to us." Alara turned, finding comfort in Maeve's storm-cloud eyes. "I have," she replied softly, "though it feels as if I've never truly left." Maeve smiled, a knowing curve of her lips. Eldergrove has a way of weaving itself into one's soul. They walked together, the village unfolding around them like a story waiting to be told. Alara felt the weight of its history pressing upon her, each cottage and cobblestone a chapter in a book she had yet to fully understand. "There's something different about the air," Alara observed, inhaling deeply, "as if it's charged with anticipation." Maeve nodded, guiding Alara toward her cottage at the forest's edge. The village senses change. It holds its breath, waiting for what is to come. Inside Maeve's sanctuary, the scent of drying herbs enveloped them, and candlelight flickered across walls lined with books and artifacts. It was a place where time seemed to pause, suspended in a delicate dance between past and present. "Tell me," Alara began, settling into a chair beside the hearth, "what do you know of the spectral presence that haunts these woods?" Maeve's gaze flickered toward the window, where shadows stretched long and deep. "It is an old spirit," she said, her words weighted with mystery. "A guardian of sorts, bound to Eldergrove by promises made long ago." "Promises?" Alara echoed, curiosity piqued. "The village is packed with forces beyond our understanding," Maeve explained. "A covenant that ensures our safety but also binds us to its terms." Alara leaned forward, her heart quickening. "And my role in this? Why do I feel as though I've been drawn back for a purpose?" Maeve studied her for a moment, eyes searching for truths unspoken. "Because you are part of Eldergrove's story, Alara. Your return is not mere coincidence, it is destiny." The words resonated within Alara, stirring memories she could not quite grasp. She thought of Alaric, whose enigmatic presence both comforted and unsettled her, his eyes reflecting centuries past, his voice an echo of untold stories. "What of Alaric?" Alara asked, unable to keep the question at bay. Maeve's expression softened. He is like you, a soul tethered to this place by threads unseen. His path intersects with yours for reasons yet to be revealed. Their conversation meandered like a forest trail, rich with subtext and laden with unspoken emotions. As they spoke, the air within the cottage seemed to thrum with life, as if responding to their words. When Alara finally left Maeve's side, dusk had settled over Eldergrove, casting the village in shades of twilight blue. The mist thickened around her as she made her way toward the forest's edge, a realm where shadows whispered secrets older than time. It was here that she encountered Alaric once more, his silhouette framed against the darkening sky. "Alara," he greeted, his voice a low murmur that sent shivers down her spine. "Alaric," she replied, stepping closer. "I feel as though I've walked into a dream, one where reality and illusion blur into one." He smiled, an enigmatic curve that hinted at shared secrets. In Eldergrove, dreams and reality are but two sides of the same coin. They stood together in companionable silence, the forest around them alive with rustling leaves and distant bird calls. Alara felt the pull of something greater than herself, a force that bound her to this place and to Alaric in ways she could not yet comprehend. "Do you believe in fate?" she asked quietly. Alaric met her gaze, his eyes reflecting the depths of night. "I believe in choices," he said, "and in the paths we forge through those choices." As they lingered there at the forest's edge, Alara sensed an invisible thread weaving them together, an unspoken promise that their journey was only beginning. The spectral presence watched from the shadows, its intentions as elusive as smoke. Yet within its ethereal form lay answers waiting to be unearthed, secrets that would shape their destinies and redefine the boundaries between love and danger. Alara knew she stood at a crossroads, one where past and future converged in a delicate balance. She would need to embrace her role within Eldergrove's unfolding drama, or risk losing everything she had come to cherish. With Alaric by her side and Maeve's wisdom as her guide, Alara took a step forward into the unknown, where magic intertwined with reality, and every choice held the power to change everything. The village held its breath in collective anticipation as she embarked on this journey, a journey through heartache and hope, where love danced with danger, and every glance held a promise of what could be. Alara stood at the edge of the forest, where the mist curled languidly around her ankles like a cat seeking warmth. The village of Eldergrove lay behind her, a tapestry of ivy-clad cottages and cobblestone streets veiled in the soft hues of twilight. Ahead, the ancient trees stretched their gnarled limbs toward the sky, casting long shadows that seemed to pulse with secrets. She took a deep breath, inhaling the scent of damp earth mingled with the faint sweetness of wildflowers. Her mind was a kaleidoscope of fragmented memories, faces and places that flickered like candle flames in a breeze. The pull of the forest was irresistible, a siren call that promised both solace and revelation. "Alara!" A voice, rich and resonant, cut through the gathering dusk. She turned to find Alaric emerging from the shadows, his presence as enigmatic as ever. His eyes, dark and fathomless, met hers with an intensity that sent a shiver down her spine. "Alaric," she greeted, her voice steady despite the flutter of her heart. "I didn't expect to see you here." He approached with a fluid grace that seemed almost otherworldly. "The forest has its own way of drawing people in," he replied, his gaze never leaving hers. "Especially those who seek answers." Alara smiled, a wry twist of her lips. "And do you have answers, Alaric? Or are you as much a mystery as this place?" His laughter was low and warm, like the murmur of the fountain in the village square. "Perhaps a bit of both," he conceded. "But I suspect you already knew that." They walked together along the forest's edge, the silence between them filled with unspoken questions. The path was dappled with moonlight, turning each step into a dance between shadow and light. "I've been thinking about what you said," Alara began, choosing her words carefully. "About Eldergrove and its peculiarities." Alaric nodded, his expression thoughtful. "This village is not like others," he said. "It exists on a threshold where reality and dreams intertwine. And the people here?" Alara pressed. "Do they not see it?" "They see what they choose to see," Alaric replied, "as do we all." They reached a clearing where the trees parted to reveal a sliver of sky. Alara paused, her gaze drifting upward to where stars winked into existence one by one. "I felt it since I returned," she confessed softly. an undercurrent of something ancient. Alaric stepped closer, his presence grounding her amidst the swirl of uncertainty. "You're not alone in feeling that pull," he assured her. "Eldergrove has always been a place of convergence, a meeting point for what was, what is, and what could be." His words resonated within her, echoing the dreams that had haunted her since childhood. In those dreams, she wandered through shadowed woods beneath a sky heavy with stars, always searching but never finding what she sought. "What if I don't belong here?" she asked, voicing the fear that gnawed at her insides. Alaric's hand brushed against hers, a fleeting touch that sent warmth spiraling through her veins. "You belong wherever your heart finds peace," he said gently, "whether that's here in Eldergrove or elsewhere." Their eyes met once more, and in that moment, Alara felt an inexplicable connection, a thread binding them across time and space. It was both exhilarating and terrifying. A rustle in the underbrush drew their attention, breaking the spell of their shared gaze. Alara tensed instinctively, though she knew better than to fear the forest's denizens. "It's only Maeve," Alaric murmured as an elderly woman stepped into view. Maeve's silver hair gleamed in the moonlight like spun silk, and her eyes held the wisdom of ages past. She inclined her head in greeting, her smile enigmatic yet welcoming. "Alara," Maeve said, her voice carrying the cadence of forgotten tales. "I wondered when our paths would cross again." Alara returned the smile with one of her own. "Maeve," she acknowledged, "it seems we're all drawn to this place tonight." "The forest has its reasons," Maeve replied cryptically, "and so do we." They stood together in companionable silence, three figures silhouetted against the backdrop of ancient trees. Alara felt a sense of belonging unfurl within her, an acceptance of the mysteries that surrounded them. "Will you walk with us?" Alaric invited Maeve. She nodded gracefully. "There is much to discuss," she agreed, her gaze lingering on Alara. The three of them continued deeper into the woods, their footsteps weaving a path through shadows and moonlight. As they walked, Alara listened to the forest's whispers, a symphony of rustling leaves and distant bird calls that spoke of secrets yet to be uncovered. "Eldergrove holds many stories," Maeve remarked after a time. "Some are waiting for someone brave enough to tell them." Alara glanced at her companions, Alaric with his ageless eyes and Maeve with her aura of quiet strength, and felt a flicker of determination ignite within her. "Then perhaps it's time I learned how to listen," she said. Maeve's smile was approving, though tinged with something bittersweet. "Listening is only the beginning," she advised. "What you do with what you hear, that will shape your journey." Their conversation meandered like the path itself, touching upon history and legends, dreams and desires, until they arrived at Maeve's cottage, nestled at the forest's edge. "Come inside," Maeve invited as she opened the door to reveal a warm glow spilling from within. The interior was an alchemist's paradise, shelves lined with jars of herbs and tinctures, each infused with magic both real and imagined. Candles flickered on every surface, casting dancing shadows across walls adorned with faded tapestries depicting scenes from Eldergrove's storied past. Alara inhaled deeply as they entered, the scent of lavender mingling with something older than time itself, and felt herself relax into this sanctuary of knowledge and mystery. "Tea?" Maeve offered as she busied herself at an antique stove. "Yes, please," Alara replied gratefully while Alaric settled into an armchair by the hearth. As they sipped steaming cups infused with Maeve's special blend, each sip carrying whispers from centuries past, Alara felt a sense of contentment wash over her. This moment felt like home, not just because it was familiar, but because it held promise. A promise that whatever lay ahead would be faced together. A promise that even amidst uncertainty there would be guidance. A promise that here among friends old and new she might finally find answers long sought after. A promise that perhaps here among these whispering woods she might finally find herself too. But beneath this comforting realization lay another truth, a truth as elusive as smoke, yet undeniable all the same. That amidst this newfound sense of belonging, there lingered still unanswered questions and unresolved tensions. That beneath this seemingly serene surface lay depths yet unexplored, and that in this world where magic and reality intertwined so seamlessly nothing could truly be taken for granted, not even love itself. For in this world of mystery and allure, love too carried its own risks and rewards, as perilous as they were profound. And so as night descended upon Eldergrove, wrapping itself around the village like a shimmering cloak of stars, Alara knew that her journey was only just beginning. The mist hung thick over Eldergrove as Alara made her way through the cobblestone streets, the morning air cool against her skin. The village square was alive with its usual quiet bustle, villagers exchanging greetings under the watchful gaze of the ancient oak. Alara's thoughts were a tangle of anticipation and unease, her mind drifting back to the enigmatic conversation she'd had with Alaric the night before. "Embrace or escape, Alara?" he had asked, his voice a low murmur that seemed to resonate with the very air around them. The words had lingered, echoing in her mind as she wandered the forest's edge, their meaning elusive yet profound. She approached Maeve's cottage, nestled at the periphery of the village where the forest began its gentle encroachment. The scent of herbs wafted through the open window, mingling with the crispness of morning. Maeve stood at the threshold, her silver hair catching the light like spun moonbeams. "Alara," Maeve greeted, her eyes crinkling with warmth. "I felt you would come." Alara smiled, though her heart was heavy with questions. "I needed to talk," she admitted, stepping inside. The cottage was a sanctuary of sorts, its walls lined with jars of dried flowers and tinctures that seemed to hum with latent magic. Maeve poured tea from a kettle that sang softly on the hearth. "The forest has been restless," she observed, handing Alara a steaming cup. "There's something in the air." Alara nodded, taking a sip. Alaric spoke of choices, of embracing or escaping. "I can't shake the feeling that he knows more than he lets on." Maeve settled into a chair opposite her, eyes thoughtful. "Alaric is as much a part of Eldergrove as the trees themselves. He sees what others overlook." "Do you trust him?" Alara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Maeve considered this for a moment. Trust is a peculiar thing in Eldergrove. It bends and shifts like the mist, but Alaric, he walks a path few understand. Their conversation drifted into comfortable silence, punctuated only by the soft crackle of the fire. Alara felt a familiar tug of belonging here, amidst the scents and shadows of Maeve's domain. "You feel it too, don't you?" Maeve's voice broke through her reverie, gentle yet probing. Alara hesitated, then nodded. "It's as if everything here is alive with secrets." Maeve leaned forward, eyes intent. "Eldergrove holds many secrets, Alara. Some are meant to be uncovered, others are best left undisturbed." The weight of Maeve's words settled over Alara like a cloak. She understood now that her return to Eldergrove was not just a retreat from her past, but an invitation to confront it. As she rose to leave, Maeve caught her hand. "Remember, child," she said softly, "the forest speaks in whispers. Listen closely." Alara stepped back into the misty morning, Maeve's words lingering like an echo. She wandered aimlessly through the village until she found herself at the edge of the forest once more. The trees loomed like sentinels, their branches entwined in a dance older than time itself. Alara hesitated at the threshold, memories swirling like leaves caught in a gentle breeze. Her heart beat with an urgency she couldn't quite name. "Alara!" The voice was soft yet unmistakable. Alaric emerged from the shadows, his presence both comforting and unsettling. There was something timeless about him, an ageless quality that defied reason. "I thought I'd find you here," he said, his gaze steady and unyielding. "I needed to think," Alara replied, feeling the pull of his presence like a tide. They walked in silence for a while, their steps falling into an easy rhythm along the forest path. The air was alive with murmurs, as if the trees were sharing secrets in a language only they understood. "Do you believe in destiny?" Alaric asked suddenly, breaking the silence. Alara considered this. "I'm not sure," she confessed, "but I do feel drawn to something here." He nodded, as if expecting her answer. "Eldergrove has a way of calling to those who belong." "Do I belong?" she asked, meeting his gaze. "That's for you to decide," Alaric replied, his voice carrying an undercurrent of mystery. Their conversation danced around truths unspoken, each word laden with possibility. Alara felt a flicker of connection, a thread weaving between them that defied explanation. As they reached a clearing bathed in dappled sunlight, Alaric paused. "The choice remains yours, Alara," he said quietly. "Embrace or escape." Alara looked out across the clearing, where wildflowers swayed gently in the breeze. She felt the weight of her past and the promise of something more, a future intertwined with Eldergrove's fate. "I think I'm ready to embrace it," she said finally, her voice firm despite the uncertainty that lingered beneath. Alaric smiled then, a rare expression that softened his features and brought warmth to his eyes. "Then let us see what secrets Eldergrove holds for you." As they turned back toward the village, Alara felt a sense of purpose unfurl within her, a newfound resolve tempered by curiosity and courage. The mist began to lift as they walked, revealing glimpses of Eldergrove beyond its ethereal veil. The village awaited her return, its mysteries woven into every stone and shadow. Alara knew that her journey was far from over, that challenges lay ahead and revelations yet to be uncovered. But for now, she embraced the unknown with open arms and an open heart. And so they walked side by side through the ancient forest, a woman seeking answers and a man bound by time, toward whatever destiny awaited them in Eldergrove's embrace.